Hey Internet, here's the plan. Patch 1.2 was released for Legends of Runeterra today, and it's big. A lot of cards got changed, a lot of stuff that we've been waiting a while for, a lot of stuff that was sorely needed, and it's going to shake up the meta in a big way. Now, ordinarily, you'd see streamers like myself do a live reaction to the patch notes on stream. Unfortunately, because I live in Australia, the patch notes are released at approximately fuck off o'clock. So for me, it's not really viable to do that sort of reaction on stream. Instead, what I've done is I've gone through and had a look at a lot of these other live reactions from more, pro streamers, high up master level players. I've gone through the patch notes, read them top to bottom. And the idea is that I can break it down for you, give you a top 5 changes that you should be looking for after these patch notes are implemented. So let's crack into it. Kicking it off with number 5 are the Vladimir changes. These are changes that we were seeing BBG really excited about.
They listened to me. I don't know if they actually got it from me, but this was the exact change I suggested for Vladimir.
The change to Vladimir is he now has Drain on his attacking ability. If you didn't know before, Vladimir damaged each other ally on the board that you had by 1, and then for each ally he damaged, you did 1 point of damage to the enemy nexus. Now, not only do you damage the enemy nexus, but you heal for the same amount. It's kind of like a convoluted lifesteal in a way. Huge, great flavor change for Vladimir.
So good and tasty.
All in all, I don't think this is going to make Vlad tier 1. I think it's going to push him up into a better position, but he's not going to be, completely dominant in the meta. I think there are a lot of decks that are still he's going to struggle against. What this does do, though, is put him in a much better position, and we're going to certainly see some more exciting lists on ladder. Coming in the number 4 slot is a 4-drop from Demacia that used to have 4 power, but now has 3. In fact, there's 2 of them. Grizzled Ranger has been taken from a 4-1 to a 3-1, and Loyal Badger Bear goes from a 4-4 to a 3-4. This is an incredibly welcome change. This card was out of control. Demacia had a huge amount of free just power in the Grizzled Ranger, and it was practically an auto-include in any Demacian deck. Keep in mind, this is not going to kill Grizzled Ranger. It's not even going to kill Demacia. Demacia has a heap of 4-drops, like way more than I thought they did until I really looked it up. And Grizzled Ranger is still probably in that premium slot. You have to still remember, it's being taken away some of its power, but you're still getting 6-5 in stats across 2 bodies for a 4-drop. So, and the scout keyword to boot. So bringing it back into a reasonable level. So a bit of a hit to Demacia, but honestly, it's not going to have a crazy change, which is why it's a little bit lower on the list. Sliding into the number 3 slot is the Karma change. Karma went from a 5-drop to a 6-drop, and if I'm being completely honest, it's a welcome change, but not entirely a surprise. What this Karma change means is it's a little bit difficult to get Karma out early and safely. Moving it to 6 obviously means you can't play her on curve on turn 5 anymore, but more often than not, you wouldn't see Karma played on curve like that anyway. A lot of the times when you're looking to play Karma, you're waiting for your opponent to dip below a certain mana threshold so that they can't immediately counter your Karma with something like Grasp of the Undying or Get Excited or Devourer of the Depths if you're playing against a deep deck. This opens Karma up to a couple more of those options, and certainly she's going to have to wait till later in the game before you can, get her down in a manner that is safe and she's going to be able to stick onto the board. Coming in at the number 2 slot is a change nobody is surprised by, a nerf to burn aggro. Boom Crew Rookie went from a 1-4 to a 1-3, and Legion Rearguard went from a 3-2 to a 3-1, both cards losing 1 health. Of the 2, Legion Rearguard got hit the hardest. Legion Rearguard went from the best 1-drop in Noxus to the worst. Potentially even the worst 1-drop across all regions. You're now looking at a 3-1 that can't block. It's answerable by everything. Literally everything beats on Legion Rearguard now. Boom Crew Rookie as well, moving to a 1-3. Far easier to answer. The difference between 3 health and 4 health cannot be understated. It's not just a point difference. The thresholds between perhaps 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are the most important in Legends of Runeterra. As far as trading goes, seeing it drop from 4 down to 3 is going to be a very welcome change, and it's going to be something where you'll see the effect of is more than just 1 point. Boom Crew Rookie is still a relatively viable card and still provides guaranteed damage. Far easier to answer though, and it's going to have a huge impact on the burn meta. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the burn decks just practically evaporate overnight, but we'll just have to see in the coming days. Before we hit that number 1 spot, we've got some honorable mentions. There was a nerf to Standalone, which Swim put best.
Standalone goes to 4 mana. Absolute garbage. This card is dead, no longer exists, deleted from the game entirely.
And there was also a buff to Shen, pushing Shen up to 3 attack pre-flip. Shen decks, whilst I think this is a pretty cool change and Shen is underplayed, is not something that I'm hugely excited about, mainly because Shen is sort of pigeonholed into an Ionia Demacia list because Demacia has access to so many barrier cards. So it's really only buffing one very specific deck list rather than buffing, you know, having a flow-on effect to multiple decks like you might see with the Karma nerf. You really only could find to one deck here. In the number 1 slot is Slotbot.
Oh yeah!
Slotbot is such a cool card.
We're giving Slotbot.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Christ. Oh, God.
All right, looks like next week, Meme Tier Monday, we're going Slotbot.
And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Viscerous, why is a meme deck, you know, the meme machine, the myth, the legend in the number 1 slot? And it's really simple. It's not just Slotbot, okay? Putting to one side the fact that he got 1/1 in stats, right? The change between 0 power and 1 power is fundamentally the biggest change that you can get. It literally enables a unit to attack and trade on board, right? You can't do that at 0, you can at 1. It's the biggest jump in power you can get. Not only that, the jump between 3 health and 4 health is huge. If you want to think to yourself, man, is that really such a big change? Take a look at Boom Crew Rookie. Boom Crew Rookie was incredibly sticky at 4 health. Now, going down to 3 health, it's so much easier to remove. Slotbot is now gaining that stat. He's much, much stickier. Very difficult to remove. The thing is with the Slotbot changes, it's not just Slotbot. Slotbot represents meme decks generally, and with the current balance changes, meme decks have a lot more room to breathe, a lot more room to grow. So as to say, the 2 issues that you have with meme decks, and I talk about this all the time on stream, is 1, if it's an aggressive meme deck, it's ordinarily inconsistent. It's very difficult to pull off your combos, or it's very punishable. A great example are things like Swim's Saving Private Teemo that I tend to play on stream a lot, or you tend to end up with these situations where they're a late game variant that take a while to ramp up. My Infinite Shroom list that I have, also adapted from Swim's list, or my Shadow Clone Jutsu combo, or the Infinite Scribe list, or, you know, Unyielding Keg combo. All of these decks take time to ramp up, and in a burn meta, you can't do that. With the burn changes, the Demacia nerfs, and things like buffs to Slotbot, you're going to see a lot more memeier shit on ladder, and I love that. I am a huge fan of this change, and that's why it takes the number 1 slot. Riot also released a couple of other things in the patch notes. Emotes. 4 emotes were released. Ezreal and Teemo are obviously S-tier emotes. I love this Monka S vibe from Ezreal. Draven and Elise, however, there's also a bunch of arcade and rainbow themed options available. There is a rainbow themed Poro Guardian you can pick up for free, and a rainbow Poro emote you can also pick up for free if you log in and grab it now. It's 0 points, so it's free stuff. Go grab it. There's also a board that's been released, an arcade board. Love this bit. On top of that, there's an arcade card back. For those of you that are League players amongst you, you'll recognize that as Hecarim's arcade halberd and that as Riven's arcade sword. That's it from me. If you guys want to check out the stream, I'm live Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 6 p.m. Brisbane time. I've been Viscerous. You've been excellent. I'll see you next time. I don't think it makes him tier 1, unfortunately. I love to see Vlad Dix...